Have you ever laid awake in the dead of night, not because you weren't tired, but because your mind just wouldn't let go? The endless loop of thoughts, worries, regrets, haunting your every moment, keeping you from the peaceful sleep you crave. But what if I told you that the key to not just better sleep, but a happier life, isn't about fixing what's wrong, but embracing what's already inside you? What if peace, healing, and happiness were not distant goals to chase, but states you could return to right now with just a few simple shifts in how you think, how you breathe, and how you live? Tonight, let's take a journey together into the heart of Buddhist wisdom, where stillness doesn't come from escaping your life, but from embracing it exactly as it is. Keep listening. The secrets you've been missing, the peace you've been yearning for, are closer than you think. If this journey into inner peace resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to Buddhism in every moment. Your support helps us create even more transformative content so you can unlock the serenity and wisdom that lie within. Stay with us and let's explore this deeper path together. Part 1. The Quiet Beginning, Understanding the Power of the Present Moment. There's a moment in every sleepless night when the body is physically drained, when your eyes are heavy, and your pillow feels like the softest embrace. Yet, despite all this, sleep refuses to come. It's as if your mind has decided it's time for a marathon, endlessly replaying the events of the day, circling back to old regrets, anxieties about the future, and questions about everything you've yet to solve. You close your eyes, hoping for a reprieve, only to find that your thoughts race faster, pulling you into the very chaos you long to escape. The more you try to stop them, the more they seem to multiply. Every thought leads to another, until you're no longer lying in bed but caught in a whirlwind of internal noise. You are not alone in this struggle. Millions of people, perhaps like you, lie awake each night not because their bodies are not tired, but because their minds refuse to rest. This relentless cycle of overthinking is a common, yet deeply painful experience, and it robs us of something that should be ours by right: peace. We often imagine that to find peace, we must wrestle with our thoughts, control them, or silence them. But what if I told you that this fight against your own mind is exactly what keeps you awake? What if the key to peace wasn't in fighting your thoughts at all, but in simply accepting them and letting them go, letting the present moment unfold as it is? Buddhism teaches us something profound about the nature of peace. It doesn't lie in controlling your thoughts or forcing them into submission. In fact, it's the very act of trying to control that creates the turbulence. Instead, peace is found when we learn to sit with the thoughts, without attachment, without judgment, and simply observe them, letting them pass like clouds in the sky. The more we try to chase after our thoughts, the more they run. But when we stop running, when we allow the mind to settle into the present moment, that is where true peace resides. In the teachings of Buddhism, the concept of mindfulness plays a pivotal role. Mindfulness doesn't ask you to stop thinking or to empty your mind completely. Rather, it invites you to be aware, truly aware of the present moment. It is about becoming fully conscious of your breath, of the sensations in your body, of the world around you, without being swept away by your thoughts. When we are mindful, we are able to recognize that our thoughts, though constant and persistent, are not who we are. They are simply passing phenomena. Imagine for a moment, what would it be like if you could simply sit with your thoughts, not trying to change them or stop them, but just observing them as they come and go? What if you could release the need to control the flow of your mind, trusting that it will settle on its own? This is the essence of what Buddhism offers, not a way to conquer your mind, but a path to find stillness within it. The present moment is the only moment we truly have, and it is in this moment that peace can be found. The moment you stop fighting against your thoughts, stop believing that they define you, you begin to uncover a quiet, unshakable peace that has always been with you. Now, let's take a moment to ground ourselves in this truth. Let's take a short journey together right here, right now, to help you reconnect with the present moment. I invite you to close your eyes wherever you are. Take a slow, deep breath in, feeling the air fill your lungs. Hold it for a moment. Now, slowly release the breath, letting it gently leave your body. As you exhale, imagine releasing all the thoughts that have been swirling in your mind. With each breath, allow your mind to quiet, letting go of any stress, any worry, any burden you've been carrying. Inhale once more, feeling the calmness in your body. Exhale, feeling the weight lift. Breathe in, knowing that you are here in this moment with no need to rush, no need to fix anything. Just breathe. And as you do, notice the stillness that begins to settle in your body. Notice how the tension in your shoulders starts to soften, how your mind becomes less frantic, how, with each breath, you are becoming more present with yourself, here and now. This simple practice of breathing is a powerful tool in Buddhist mindfulness. It helps to bring us back to the present, away from the noise of the past and the worries of the future. When you practice this mindfulness, you will notice that the more you return to the breath, the more you return to the present moment, the quieter your thoughts become. But what about those nights when the thoughts won't stop, when your mind races and you feel like you are losing control of your own mind? That, too, is part of the journey. There is no need to feel ashamed of these moments. They are natural. What is important is that you do not allow them to pull you away from the present. You do not need to fix every thought, solve every worry, or answer every question. You only need to return to the breath, return to the now, return to yourself. I know how hard it can be to feel trapped in a cycle of overthinking, but take comfort in knowing that this struggle is not unique to you. It is part of being human. You are not broken because your mind won't stop. You are simply in need of rest, of stillness, and most importantly, of self-compassion. Your thoughts do not define you. They do not control you. You are the awareness behind those thoughts, the space in which they arise. And in that space, peace exists. It is always present, always available whenever you choose to return to it. So let's pause for a moment and breathe. Let this be the beginning of your journey back to the present. Not tomorrow, not after you've solved everything, but right now. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, feel the peace that has always been with you, waiting to be noticed. In your day-to-day life, this is where we often lose touch with our inner peace. We feel the need to react, to analyze, to fix what isn't working. We seek answers, chasing after solutions to problems that often exist only in our minds. But what if the key to resolving these problems wasn't found in doing more, but in doing less? What if instead of searching for the perfect response to every situation, we simply allowed ourselves to experience it, without the pressure to control it? This can be one of the hardest lessons to embrace. In our fast-paced world, where we are taught to constantly strive for more achievement, more success, more answers, taking a step back, allowing ourselves to simply exist, can feel like failure. Yet Buddhism teaches us that peace is found in acceptance, not in control. The present moment is not something to escape from, but to dive into fully. The goal is not to fix the moment, but to experience it exactly as it is. Let's reflect on how much of our anxiety comes from trying to shape the future, to fix what hasn't happened yet. How often have you caught yourself worrying about an event that's not even close, or replaying an interaction, obsessing over something you can't change? When you live like this, chasing after the what-ifs and maybes, you rob yourself of the joy and peace that can only be found here in the present. The problem isn't the thoughts themselves. The problem is our attachment to them. Thoughts are like clouds in the sky. They form, float by, and dissolve. It's when we start grabbing at those clouds, thinking we can hold on to them, that they start to weigh us down. What Buddhism teaches us is that we don't have to cling to our thoughts. We don't need to force them away, but simply allow them to pass. So, as you continue to sit here with your breath as your guide, let's shift your focus for a moment. Think about the pressure you've been carrying, the constant need to be something, to do something. What if, for just a few minutes, you could put that down? What if you could allow yourself to just be without the need to prove anything? In this very moment, you are enough. You are whole as you are, without any effort, without striving. I know how difficult it is to believe this, especially when life feels overwhelming. But in Buddhism, this is the truth that's often hidden beneath the noise of everyday life. You don't need to fix yourself, and you don't need to control every situation. Life is not about accumulating achievements or solving all your problems. Life is about being present for it all, in its imperfection, its messiness, and its beauty. Take a deep breath now and let it remind you that you are allowed to rest. You don't need to hold everything together. You don't need to have it all figured out. In fact, by trying so hard to manage everything, you're only creating more resistance to the peace that's already here within you. The simple act of being present is revolutionary. It is a practice, a return, a moment-by-moment decision to let go of everything that weighs you down and to sit quietly in the reality of this very moment. It's not about escaping the noise of your thoughts. It's about acknowledging them, seeing them for what they are, and then returning to the stillness that exists beneath them. Imagine this, a bird in the sky flying freely. It doesn't worry about where it's going or how long the flight will be. It simply flies, trusting that it will arrive where it needs to. You too can trust in the present moment. You don't need to know where you're going or have all the answers. You just need to let go, trust, and breathe in the peace that already exists within you. And this is where you begin to see real change, not because you're trying to change yourself or the world, but because you are choosing to accept what is. This is the true essence of peace, acceptance without the need to change anything. When you stop resisting life, when you stop wishing it was different, you open the door to real happiness. I want you to hold on to this feeling for a moment. The quiet, the calm, the understanding that right here and right now you are enough. You don't need to prove anything. Just breathing, just being is enough. Part 2. Letting go, the power of releasing the day. We all carry a heavy load. It's not just the physical weight we sometimes feel after a long day, but the invisible weight that pulls at our minds and hearts long after the day has passed. Think for a moment. When was the last time you laid down to sleep with the true intention of resting? Maybe your body was tired, but your mind was still running, replaying the moments of your day, the conversations, the things left undone, the worries about tomorrow. The day you thought was over still lingers, quietly weighing on your soul. It's a burden we've all come to know too well. We replay arguments, revisit regrets, and dwell on mistakes, both big and small. These thoughts, these past experiences, don't just occupy our minds. They define the space we inhabit in the present. We become prisoners of our past, even as we move forward. We convince ourselves that carrying these thoughts, holding onto them, will somehow make us smarter, more prepared, or more capable. But in truth, they only hold us back like an anchor tied to our ankles, pulling us deeper into the ocean of anxiety and regret. The mental exhaustion this creates is suffocating. We lie awake, our minds racing, while our bodies crave sleep. But no matter how much we want to rest, we can't escape the grip of the past. The mental chatter keeps us awake, repeating, reliving, and rewriting. We wear these burdens on our shoulders like invisible armor, and the weight slowly chips away at our ability to find peace, rest, and joy. But what if you didn't have to carry it all? What if you could let go of the day, the mistakes, the regrets, the things you wish you had done differently, and allow yourself to be free, even just for a moment? This isn't an easy practice, and it's not something most of us are taught how to do. But in Buddhist wisdom, letting go is one of the most powerful tools for peace. It's not about forgetting the past, nor is it about denying it. Letting go is the act of releasing our attachment to it. It's the realization that while the past has shaped us, it no longer needs to control us. In Buddhism, we are taught that suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from our refusal to release them. The past, as real as it may feel, is no longer in the present moment. What we carry with us, our pain, our regrets, our guilt, is not reality. It's only a memory we choose to revisit over and over again, each time adding more weight to our minds and hearts. To release the past, we must first recognize that we are not bound by it. We don't have to carry these memories like burdens. Letting go is an act of self-compassion, an offering of freedom to ourselves. When we release the past, we are not saying that it didn't matter. We are simply acknowledging that it is no longer ours to carry. Think about it. What would it feel like to simply let go of everything you've been holding onto from the day? Every regret, every worry, every unfinished task. The weight of your thoughts, the heaviness of yesterday, could all be put down. Imagine the freedom in that. Imagine how much lighter your body would feel, how much quieter your mind would become, how much space would open up for peace to settle in. Now, let's take a moment to experience that feeling. I want you to sit back, close your eyes, and picture yourself at the end of your day. See the events of the day unfolding in your mind, but don't get caught up in them. Imagine each moment as a small piece of paper, each one representing a thought, a task, or a feeling. Watch as you take those pieces of paper and place them gently into a box, one by one. It's not about forgetting them, but about giving them a place to rest, separate from you. As you place each piece into the box, feel the weight of the day leaving your body. Feel the tension release from your shoulders, from your chest, from your mind. When the box is full, close the lid gently. It's not gone forever. It's just put away for now. You've given yourself permission to let go, to stop carrying it with you, to give yourself the freedom to be present, to be at peace. You are not denying the day's events. You are simply choosing to not let them control you any longer. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of the grip on the box. Imagine yourself stepping away from it, knowing that it will be there when you need it, but it doesn't need to follow you into this moment. Feel how your body softens, how your breath deepens, and how your mind quiets. In this moment, you are free. You are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are the space that holds them, but you don't need to carry them. This is the power of releasing the day. It is an act of deep self-compassion, a gift you give to yourself. And while it may not be easy at first, it is the key to finding peace, especially when the noise of the day tries to carry into your sleep. The more you practice this release, the more you will find that you don't need to carry the past with you. You can always return to the present moment, to the stillness beneath the noise, where peace lives. Letting go isn't a one-time event. It's a practice, a way of life. It's about choosing to release the things that no longer serve you and making space for what truly matters, the peace that comes when we let go of the need to control the past. Each time you release, you create more space within yourself for peace to flow. You give yourself permission to rest, to heal, and to simply be. As you go to sleep tonight, remember this feeling of release. You are not defined by your past, your mistakes, or your regrets. You are defined by your ability to let go and to create space for peace. Trust that you are worthy of this peace, not because you've earned it, but because you are human and peace is your birthright. The practice of letting go is one of the most powerful tools we have at our disposal. It is the gift of freedom, of release, and of a life lived fully in the present. However, it's not always an easy practice to embrace. We live in a world that encourages us to hold on to our past experiences, to hold on to our ambitions for the future, to carry the weight of every decision, every regret, every unspoken word. Letting go, in many ways, can feel counterintuitive. After all, isn't it normal to feel like we need to keep the past close, to constantly analyze and process every little thing in order to learn from it? But, as the Buddha taught, true peace comes not from clinging to the past, but from releasing it. By holding onto our memories, our past mistakes, our perceived failures, our what-ifs, we deny ourselves the present. We don't give ourselves the chance to experience life in its fullness. We are so consumed by the weight of what has already passed that we cannot fully engage with the now. The present moment slips away, just like sand through our fingers, while we remain focused on what has already been. Imagine for a moment that you could truly release the weight of the day. All the mental clutter, the worries, the to-do lists, the things you didn't get to, the arguments, the moments of regret. What if you could lay them down like a heavy coat and walk away, leaving them behind? Imagine how light you would feel, how much room there would be in your heart for peace, for calm, for rest. This is the power of releasing, the ability to set down the burden and give yourself permission to be free. But letting go doesn't mean that what happened is unimportant. It doesn't mean you're ignoring the lessons or the emotions tied to the day's events. It simply means you're choosing not to let them define your present moment. You're choosing not to carry the weight of yesterday into your tomorrow. Letting go is a compassionate act. It is giving yourself the grace to step into a new moment, unburdened by the past. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the idea of non-attachment. Attachment is not just about holding on to material things. It's about clinging to thoughts, emotions, and experiences that no longer serve us. We often become attached to our past, to our memories, and to our identities shaped by those memories. We tell ourselves stories about who we are based on what we've been through, what we've lost, what we've failed at. But those stories are not the truth of who we are. The truth of who we are is always evolving, always changing. We are not the sum of our past. We are the awareness that holds it, the space in which it exists. When we release the past, we make space for the present to unfold. The burden of yesterday no longer weighs us down. We free ourselves from the cycle of regret and worry, and we give ourselves the chance to experience life as it is, without the filter of past pain or future fear. This is where peace begins, not in controlling or fixing the world around us, but in releasing the control we try to exert over our minds. Let's take a moment now to deepen this practice of letting go. Close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths. With each inhale, feel the air filling your lungs, refreshing and calming. And with each exhale, imagine you're releasing the thoughts, the worries, and the burdens you've been carrying. As you exhale, see them float away like leaves drifting on a gentle stream. Watch them fade into the distance. With each breath, allow your body to soften, to relax, to let go. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who is aware of them, and in this moment you are choosing to release. As you breathe, feel the lightness in your chest, the warmth in your heart, as if you are giving yourself permission to rest. Let the heaviness melt away. Let go of any guilt, any regrets, any lingering thoughts about what went wrong today or what you need to fix tomorrow. Feel the relief in your body as you step away from the weight of the past. This is the power of letting go. The simple yet profound act of choosing to release the past so that you can experience peace in the present. It's not always easy, and it may not happen overnight, but with practice, it becomes easier to let go, to breathe, and to experience the moment as it is. Now, imagine how much easier it would be to fall asleep tonight if you didn't have to carry the weight of the day with you. Imagine your body settling into the bed, your mind at ease, your heart at peace. This is the freedom you can give yourself when you release the past. The more you practice, the more you will feel the relief of letting go, and the more you will make space for peace to settle within you. In the stillness of the night, let go of the weight of the day. Trust that you've done enough for today. You've carried enough. Now, let yourself rest. Let yourself be free from the burden of what's already gone. You don't need to hold on to it anymore. And as you continue to practice this release, you'll begin to notice that the peace you've been seeking has always been within you. It's not something you need to chase, something to work for, or something that will come only when everything is perfect. Peace is found in the space you create when you let go. Part 3. The mind is not the truth. Observing without attachment. The mind, that constant companion, the never-ending stream of thoughts, sometimes gentle, sometimes intense, keeps us company throughout our lives. It is where we spend our days, yet it is rarely still. The thoughts are like waves, constantly rolling, never fully at rest. But have you ever wondered, amidst all the noise of your mind, who you are? What part of you is truly you, and what part is simply the echo of thoughts that arise, stay for a while, and then fade away? In Buddhism, we learn a profound and liberating truth. The mind is not who we are. Our thoughts, no matter how powerful they may seem in the moment, are not our identity. They do not define us. We are the awareness behind them, the witness, the observer, unchanged and unmoved by the ebb and flow of our mental chatter. Every day, millions of thoughts arise in our minds. Some are fleeting, passing through like a gentle breeze, while others grip us, pulling us in, making us feel like we are nothing more than the thoughts we have. We give these thoughts so much power, allowing them to shape our emotions, our actions, and even our perception of ourselves. But the truth is far more liberating than this. Thoughts are not the truth. They are just mental phenomena, appearing and disappearing like clouds drifting across a vast, open sky. When you truly understand the nature of your thoughts, you begin to see them for what they are: temporary, fleeting, and ultimately not your truth. Imagine your mind as the sky, clear and vast. The thoughts are like clouds that form, shift, and eventually fade away. Some clouds may appear dark and heavy, others light and airy, but they all pass in time. They do not stay, and they certainly do not define the sky. Now let us turn our attention inward and practice what the Buddhists call mindfulness, the practice of observing our thoughts without attachment, without judgment, without trying to control them. Just like the sky does not cling to the clouds, we do not need to cling to the thoughts that come and go. Sit with me for a moment and let's practice observing your thoughts together. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let your body settle. As you breathe, notice what comes to mind. Thoughts will inevitably arise, thoughts about your day, your future, your relationships, your worries. They will appear just like clouds do. Don't try to stop them. Don't judge them. Don't try to push them away. Simply observe them, like you're standing on the shore of a river watching the current flow by. As you do, notice how these thoughts are not you. They are like leaves floating on the water, coming and going. Some thoughts may be heavy, others light. Some may stir up emotions, but if you can simply watch them, you will begin to see that you do not need to hold onto them. You do not need to follow them. With each passing thought, take a breath and let it go. See it for what it is: a cloud, a ripple in the water, a passing moment in the vastness of your awareness. As you continue to breathe, notice how your mind may become quieter, how the thoughts become less insistent, less demanding. This is the magic of mindfulness. The more you observe your thoughts without attaching to them, the less power they have over you. They begin to lose their grip. They fade into the background, and you are left with the stillness of the present moment. The more you practice observing your thoughts without judgment, the more you will begin to realize something truly liberating. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. Thoughts are like the weather, sometimes cloudy, sometimes sunny, but always changing. And just like the weather, your thoughts are not permanent. You cannot control them, but you can choose how you respond to them. This understanding, this separation between you and your thoughts, is the key to freedom. It is what allows you to experience peace, even in the midst of a busy, noisy mind. Instead of being swept away by every thought that arises, you can sit back, observe, and choose not to engage with them. This is true mindfulness. The emotional impact of this practice is profound. So often, we identify with our thoughts, believing them to be our truth. If a thought arises telling us that we are not good enough, we take it as fact. If a thought about the future stirs fear, we believe it will come true. But in observing our thoughts without attachment, we begin to recognize that they are just mental events, not absolutes. We no longer have to let them define our emotional state. For instance, if you have a thought that you are not good enough, instead of believing it, you can observe it and say, "Ah, there is that thought again. It is just a thought. It doesn't define who I am. I am not my thoughts." With this simple act of detachment, you free yourself from the grip of negative thinking. You allow yourself to return to the present moment, to the stillness that is always within you. This emotional freedom is what many of us long for, though we may not always realize it. We are often at the mercy of our thoughts, pulled into stories about ourselves, about the world, about our past, and about the future. But when we stop identifying with these thoughts, we create a space where we can truly experience peace. We can stop chasing after thoughts, trying to solve them or attach meaning to them, and simply allow ourselves to be present. When we observe our thoughts with compassion, we start to see them as they are: temporary, transient, and ultimately not who we are. We can embrace the freedom that comes from knowing we are not defined by our thoughts. We are the observer, the silent witness, who can choose to simply be present with what is. In this moment, you are not your past, your worries, or your fears. You are simply here, breathing, alive, aware. So as you sit here, remember this: you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, and in that awareness there is peace. It's not something you need to chase, but something you already have within you. With each breath, you return to the present moment, to the stillness, to the truth that you are not the storm of your thoughts. You are the sky that watches it all pass. Now, let's return to the breath, our anchor in the present. Every time your mind starts to wander, bring it back to the breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the feeling of the air entering your body. With each breath, remind yourself that you are not your thoughts. You are the witness. And in this simple act of being present, you are free. In our fast-paced world, we are often taught that we must do in order to be, that we must constantly be productive, that our value is measured by our thoughts, our achievements, and how much we can accomplish. But this societal belief creates a disconnect between who we are and how we experience the world. We get lost in the pursuit of more accomplishments, more success, more validation, and forget that true peace doesn't come from this endless chase. It arises from the ability to simply be. The mind is like a relentless river, rushing forward with no end in sight. It pulls us in with its current, sweeping us away in its waves of thoughts, fears, and desires. The more we try to control it, the more it intensifies. We desperately try to grab hold of each thought, to make sense of it, to find an answer, to fix something. But all we end up doing is adding more noise, more complexity, more frustration. We are left with no peace, only a cacophony of voices in our heads, each one trying to pull us in a different direction. But what if we stopped trying to control the river? What if, instead of fighting the current, we simply watched it flow? What if, instead of trying to force our minds into silence, we learned to observe the thoughts as they came and went, like leaves floating down the river? This is the essence of mindfulness, the act of observing without attachment, without judgment, without the need to control. Buddhism offers us this radical shift in perspective. We are not the mind. We are the observer. Our thoughts, emotions, and memories are like clouds in the sky, ever-changing, fleeting, and ultimately not who we are. The more we cling to them, the more we become trapped in a cycle of suffering, always chasing after what has already passed or worrying about what may come. But the moment we release this attachment, we free ourselves from the hold the mind has on us. This doesn't mean that we can or should eliminate thoughts altogether. Thoughts will always come. They are part of the natural flow of the mind, but we don't have to identify with them. We don't have to believe every thought that arises or act on every impulse. Instead, we can observe them, like watching clouds drift across the sky. Some clouds may be dark and heavy, others light and fluffy, but none of them stay forever. They all pass in time, just like our thoughts. So how do we begin this practice of observing our thoughts without attachment? It starts with awareness. The next time you find yourself caught up in a stream of thoughts, try to step back. Imagine yourself as the sky, vast, open, and unchanging, while the thoughts pass by like clouds. Notice the thoughts as they arise, but don't get caught up in them. Don't follow them, don't judge them, and don't let them define you. Just observe. Let them pass. It may seem like a simple practice, but it's incredibly powerful. The more you practice observing your thoughts without attaching to them, the more you will feel a sense of freedom. You will begin to realize that the mind is not something you need to control. It is not something that defines who you are. You are the awareness that watches the mind, the observer who remains untouched by the thoughts that arise. This is the true power of mindfulness. It's not about emptying the mind or silencing the thoughts. It's about creating space between yourself and the thoughts, recognizing them for what they are, temporary and ever-changing, and realizing that they do not hold the power to control you. Imagine, for a moment, the sense of freedom that comes with this understanding. What would it be like to no longer be defined by your thoughts, to no longer let them dictate your emotions, your actions, or your sense of self-worth? What would it be like to live in the present moment, fully aware of your thoughts but not caught up in them? To no longer be a prisoner of your mind, but to sit quietly in the stillness of the present, observing your thoughts with a sense of detachment and peace. This is the freedom that mindfulness offers. It is not an escape from the world or from your thoughts. It is an invitation to live fully in the present, to experience life without the constant noise of the mind. It is a return to the truth of who you are, not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your past, but the awareness behind it all. As you practice this mindfulness, you will begin to notice subtle changes in your life. The more you observe your thoughts without attachment, the less power they have over you. You will find yourself less caught up in worries, less influenced by past regrets, and less driven by fear of the future. You will experience a sense of peace, a stillness that comes from within, that doesn't depend on the external world or the thoughts in your mind. And this peace will guide you, not just in moments of meditation, but in every aspect of your life. It will help you navigate difficult situations with clarity and calm. It will allow you to respond to challenges with mindfulness and compassion. And it will help you live in a way that is deeply rooted in the present moment. But like all practices, mindfulness takes time. It takes patience and dedication. It requires a willingness to sit with your thoughts, to observe them without judgment, and to let go of the need to control them. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. The more you practice, the more you will begin to notice the subtle shifts in your awareness, the quieter your mind becomes, and the deeper your peace grows. Let's return now to the present moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, release any lingering tension in your body. Feel your breath, your body, and your mind coming together in this moment. As you observe your thoughts, remember that they are not you. They are simply passing through. You are the awareness behind them. Part 4. Gratitude, the key to shift your focus. Gratitude. It's a word we hear often, but do we truly understand its power? How often do we stop in our busy lives to acknowledge the things we already have? How much of our energy is spent on what we don't have, or on what's missing? In a world that constantly pushes us to strive for more, to reach higher, to do better, it's easy to forget how much we already have. But here lies one of the most profound tools for transforming our emotional state, for unlocking peace in our hearts: gratitude. Gratitude is not just a nice thing to practice when everything is going well. It's not a superficial thank you for the good things that come our way. True gratitude, the kind that changes us, is a deep recognition of the blessings we already have, in both the simple and the profound. It's the ability to shift our focus from what we lack to what we already possess. It's a way of training our minds to look for the gifts, big and small, that life offers us, even in the midst of our struggles. Think about it for a moment. When you focus on what you lack, whether it's material possessions, achievements, or relationships, you inadvertently create a space in your heart that feels empty, dissatisfied, or restless. You feel the ache of desire, of wanting something else, something more. And in that space, peace is elusive. But when you shift your focus to what you already have, something beautiful happens. You begin to feel a sense of abundance. Even in the simplest of moments, you realize that you have enough. You are enough. You are surrounded by a world full of small, quiet blessings that often go unnoticed. This is the power of gratitude. It's not about adding anything to your life, but about recognizing what is already present. Gratitude shifts your emotional state from one of scarcity to one of abundance, from one of longing to one of contentment. It is, as the Buddha taught, the key to transforming your heart. In Buddhism, gratitude is a cornerstone of practice. It is through gratitude that we come to understand the interconnectedness of all things. We realize that everything we have, every moment we experience, is a gift. Gratitude brings us into alignment with the present moment. It forces us to stop looking ahead or behind, and instead to turn our gaze inward, recognizing the richness of what is already here. The Buddha emphasized the importance of mindfulness and appreciation for the present, and gratitude is the natural extension of this awareness. By cultivating a heart full of gratitude, we open ourselves to the beauty of life in its raw, unfiltered form. We begin to see the value in the ordinary. The warmth of the sun, the sound of birds outside our window, the cup of tea in our hands, all of these become sacred when we approach them with gratitude. This practice of gratitude is not just about acknowledging the good things in life. It's also about appreciating the lessons, even in hardship. The Buddha understood that suffering is an inherent part of life, but through gratitude we learn to see the silver lining, to find meaning in the pain. We learn to be thankful for the growth that comes from our struggles, the wisdom that comes from our challenges. Let's take a moment to pause and reflect on this. I invite you now, wherever you are, to think about 3 things you are grateful for in this very moment. They don't have to be big or extraordinary. In fact, the smaller, the better. Perhaps it's the warmth of the room you're in, or the sound of your breath, or the love of someone close to you. Maybe it's something as simple as the gift of this moment, the fact that you are here, alive, breathing. As you reflect on these things, feel the shift in your heart. Notice how your body responds to this shift in focus. When we focus on what we have, we begin to feel lighter. The tension in our shoulders may ease. Our breath may deepen. We stop grasping for more, and in doing so, we allow ourselves to rest in the abundance that is already around us. We are no longer at the mercy of what we lack, but in harmony with what we already have. Now, as you hold these things you are grateful for in your heart, let yourself truly feel that gratitude. Let it fill your being. Let it heal the parts of you that have been longing for something more, something different. Notice how, in this moment of deep appreciation, you are enough. You have enough. Your life is already rich, already full. This is the power of gratitude. It heals the heart because it opens us to the present moment. It softens the sharp edges of desire and dissatisfaction. It reminds us that no matter what we've been through or where we are in life, we are always surrounded by blessings. And in that awareness, peace settles in. Gratitude is not just a practice. It is a way of being. It is about seeing life with eyes that have been opened, that see the beauty in the mundane, that recognize the divine in the ordinary. When we practice gratitude, we are training ourselves to see the world differently, to recognize the good that exists even in the darkest of times. It is important to note that gratitude is not about denying pain or pretending everything is perfect. It's not about glossing over the struggles of life. Rather, it's about acknowledging that even in pain, there is something to be grateful for, perhaps the strength it has given us, or the compassion it has inspired in others. Gratitude is about embracing all of life, both the joy and the sorrow, and recognizing that everything in its own way is a gift. This practice, when nurtured over time, becomes a lens through which we view the world. It shifts our perception from one of lack to one of plenty. It reminds us that, even in the face of hardship, we are always surrounded by love, beauty, and grace. Gratitude is the antidote to the poison of comparison, of desire, of dissatisfaction. When we focus on what we have, we no longer feel the need to chase after what we don't. In the quiet of the night, as you prepare to rest, carry this feeling of gratitude with you. Let it be the last thought of the day and the first when you wake. When you go to sleep, know that you are enough, that your life is enough, that the simple act of being present is a gift in itself. This is the power of gratitude. It brings us home to ourselves, to the present moment, and to the peace that comes from knowing we are always enough. As you continue to reflect on the power of gratitude, you may begin to notice something subtle but deeply transformative, how it starts to change your perspective on life. Gratitude isn't just a momentary exercise. It's a lens through which you begin to see the world differently. Every day, we are bombarded by messages telling us that we need more possessions, more experiences, more validation. But gratitude shifts that mindset. It teaches us to stop chasing after what's next and instead to appreciate what's already in front of us. This shift in focus can be deeply healing. Imagine, for a moment, what it would feel like to wake up each day with a heart full of gratitude, no longer distracted by what you don't have, but fully present with what is. You would greet the world not as a place that needs to be fixed, but as a place that is already enough. Each interaction, each moment, would be seen for its inherent beauty, its value, and its potential to bring joy, no matter how small. This isn't an idealized way of looking at life. It's a truth that can be deeply felt when you begin to cultivate gratitude as a daily practice. In fact, the more you practice gratitude, the more you start to notice how life itself becomes richer. You begin to notice the small blessings that once went unnoticed, the way sunlight filters through the trees, the laughter of a loved one, the warmth of a meal. These things are not insignificant. They are the fabric of life, woven together in a way that makes our existence meaningful and beautiful. But the true power of gratitude lies not just in acknowledging what is good and beautiful in life, but also in learning to see the grace in the challenges, in the imperfections. In Buddhism, we are taught that life is a mixture of both joy and suffering, but both can be viewed through the lens of gratitude. This doesn't mean we should deny our pain or pretend that everything is always perfect. It means that even in our struggles, there is something to be grateful for, a lesson, an opportunity for growth, a moment of compassion. When we are grateful for everything we experience, we stop seeing ourselves as victims of our circumstances and start seeing them as opportunities for transformation. Think about a time in your life when you faced a difficult challenge. At the moment, it may have seemed like something you just wanted to get through, to overcome. But looking back, can you see the ways in which that challenge helped shape you? Maybe it taught you resilience, patience, or the importance of self-compassion. Maybe it brought you closer to someone or made you realize something new about yourself. In that moment of struggle, you may not have felt grateful, but when you look back, you can see how that experience added depth and meaning to your life. Gratitude doesn't ask us to gloss over our pain or pretend it doesn't exist. It simply invites us to recognize the fullness of life in all its complexity. It reminds us that no experience is ever wasted. Whether we are facing joy or hardship, there is always something to be grateful for, and when we focus on that, we begin to find peace within ourselves. Let's return to the practice of reflecting on gratitude. Take a deep breath and think of 3 more things you're grateful for. As you do, let each of them sink in fully. Maybe it's the love you've received today or the breath that fills your lungs. Perhaps it's the beauty of the sky or the support of friends. Maybe it's something simple like the taste of your morning coffee or the quiet of the evening. Let these moments fill you, and as you reflect on them, feel the warmth that rises in your heart. With each thing you acknowledge, imagine it as a small, bright light within you. The more you focus on these lights, the less space there is for darkness, for the things you lack, for the dissatisfaction that often clouds our hearts. Gratitude, when practiced deeply, is like a cleansing light that washes over the shadows of fear, regret, and longing. It doesn't erase them, but it transforms them into something that we can appreciate as part of the journey. Now, let's bring this practice into our daily lives. Whenever you find yourself overwhelmed, anxious, or dissatisfied, pause for a moment. Take a breath and ask yourself, what am I grateful for right now? It might be a challenge to feel it in the moment, but I promise you that the more you ask this question, the more your heart will open to the truth of abundance around you. The simple act of shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have can be life-changing. It is the key to finding peace in the present moment, to seeing the beauty in the small things, and to living with a heart full of love, gratitude, and appreciation. If you found this practice of gratitude helpful, and if you want to explore more ways to bring peace and joy into your life, I invite you to continue this journey with us. Subscribe to Buddhism in Every Moment, where we dive deeper into the teachings of mindfulness, letting go and embracing the present moment. Your support helps us continue creating content that inspires and guides you toward a life filled with peace and gratitude. Together, let's continue walking this path of mindfulness, appreciation, and transformation. Remember, gratitude is not just a practice, it's a way of being. It's a shift in perspective, a choice to live with a heart open to the beauty and richness that already exist in your life. Take this with you into the world and notice how everything begins to change. When you focus on what you have, you open yourself to peace, to love, and to a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. You are enough, just as you are, and the more you practice gratitude, the more you will see how truly abundant your life already is. Part 5. The Illusion of Control, Embracing Impermanence. In our modern world, control has become synonymous with security. We plan our days down to the smallest detail, organize our lives to perfection, and seek to control every aspect of our environment. From our careers to our relationships, from our health to our finances, we cling to the illusion that if we can just manage every variable, we will achieve peace, happiness, and stability. Yet, no matter how hard we try, life has a way of slipping through our fingers. The more we grasp, the more we feel out of control. The desire to control everything becomes a cage, and within that cage, peace is elusive. Have you ever tried to control your thoughts, emotions, or even the way people respond to you? How often do we find ourselves getting frustrated when things don't go the way we expected? Maybe it's a conversation that doesn't unfold as planned, a goal that falls short, or a moment of chaos that shatters our carefully constructed reality. We feel the tightness in our chest, the tension in our body, as we fight against what's happening in the present, trying to force everything back into place. The illusion of control promises safety and certainty, but in reality, it only keeps us trapped in a cycle of stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction. This struggle for control is a common experience, one that many of us know all too well. We hold on tightly to our plans, to our expectations, and to our desire for things to stay the same. But in doing so, we resist the natural flow of life. We become afraid of change, of the unknown, and of the inevitable fluctuations that life brings. And in that fear, we miss the truth that is hiding in plain sight, the truth that life, by its very nature, is impermanent. Buddhism teaches us that impermanence is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. All things, including our thoughts, emotions, and circumstances, are in constant flux. Nothing stays the same. Relationships change, seasons change, even our own bodies change as we age. And yet, in our attempt to control everything, we fight against this natural flow, believing that we can somehow hold on to stability. But the truth is that the more we resist change, the more we create suffering for ourselves. The path to peace, according to Buddhist teachings, is not in the pursuit of control, but in the acceptance of impermanence. To understand impermanence is to recognize that nothing in life is permanent, neither our joy nor our sorrow, neither our success nor our failure. Everything, from the most fleeting thought to the grandest of experiences, is subject to change. This understanding frees us from the burden of trying to hold onto something that was never meant to last. Instead of fighting against the natural ebb and flow of life, we can learn to flow with it, to embrace the moment as it is, knowing that it, too, will pass. When we accept impermanence, we open ourselves to freedom. We no longer need to control every detail of our lives or try to force things into a certain shape. We begin to live more fully in the present moment, appreciating the beauty of what is, instead of constantly striving for something else. The freedom that comes with accepting impermanence allows us to let go of the need for certainty and security. We are no longer bound by our expectations, and we are free to experience life as it unfolds. Now, let's take a moment to experience this shift in perspective. I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. As you inhale, imagine breathing in the idea of impermanence, acknowledging that nothing in life is fixed or permanent. With each breath, feel the tension in your body begin to release as you accept the fluid nature of life. Let go of the need to control the outcome of any situation. Simply breathe and allow yourself to feel the flow of life moving through you, knowing that it is all temporary and that you don't need to grasp onto it. As you breathe, think of something in your life that you've been trying to control. It could be an emotion, a thought, a relationship, or a situation that you're desperately trying to manage. Now imagine gently releasing your grip on it. You don't need to fix it or control it. Let it go just for this moment. Trust that it will unfold as it is meant to without your constant intervention. Notice the relief in your body, the lightness in your chest, as you release the need for control. Feel how much easier it is to simply breathe, to simply be. Now, picture the flow of a river. The water is constantly moving, never stagnant. It flows around rocks, over obstacles, and through every twist and turn. The river doesn't try to control its course. It simply follows the path that is in front of it. Imagine yourself as this river, flowing freely, embracing every curve, every change, every shift. You don't need to fight the current. You simply allow yourself to move with it, trusting that it will carry you where you need to go. This is the practice of embracing impermanence. It's the practice of letting go of the need to control everything and allowing life to unfold naturally. Instead of resisting change, we flow with it, knowing that each moment is precious, even if it is fleeting. We let go of the desire for certainty and control, and we open ourselves to the beauty of what is happening right now. As you continue to breathe, feel the peace that comes with this release. The struggle for control melts away and you find yourself in a space of ease, of acceptance. You don't need to force life to be a certain way. You don't need to control every thought, every emotion, every situation. You are free to simply be, to experience the ebb and flow of life without fear, without attachment, without resistance. The relief you feel in this moment is the gift of accepting impermanence. It is the freedom of letting go of the need for control and trusting that life will unfold as it is meant to. When you embrace impermanence, you make space for peace, for joy, and for presence. You no longer live in the past, trying to hold on to what's already gone, or in the future, trying to predict what's to come. Instead, you live fully in the moment, appreciating it for what it is, knowing that it, too, will pass, and that's perfectly okay. As we navigate through life, the notion of control often becomes intertwined with our sense of identity. We believe that if we can manage the details, our schedules, our relationships, our goals, we will find stability and fulfillment. But this desire for control is a trap. We get caught in the illusion that by forcing life into a specific mold, we can protect ourselves from uncertainty, from failure, and from the discomfort that often accompanies change. Yet, this illusion only tightens its grip, leading us to live in a constant state of tension. The truth, however, is that life itself is impermanent. Everything we experience, our thoughts, our emotions, our circumstances, is in a state of constant change. Just as the seasons shift, the tides ebb and flow, and the sun rises and sets, our lives are ever-changing. This constant flux is the very nature of existence, and trying to control it only creates unnecessary resistance. We resist the natural flow of life when we cling to what is familiar, to what we think should be. We fight against change, fearing that it will somehow diminish our happiness or sense of security. But here's the paradox. By trying to control everything, we lose our ability to experience true peace. Peace comes not from holding tightly to what we know, but from embracing the unknown, from trusting in the process of life, and from surrendering to the flow of the present moment. In Buddhism, this is referred to as non-attachment, the practice of engaging with life fully, while remaining free from the compulsion to control or possess. It's the realization that the more we try to control the ebb and flow of our experiences, the more we become enslaved to the very things we fear losing. In contrast, when we learn to release our attachment to outcomes, we create space for peace, freedom, and joy to enter our lives. To embrace impermanence is to acknowledge that every experience, whether it brings joy or sorrow, is temporary. When we can let go of the need for things to stay the same, we free ourselves from the constant cycle of grasping and aversion. We stop resisting change and start flowing with it, allowing life to unfold as it is meant to. This doesn't mean we stop caring about what happens in our lives, nor does it mean we stop making plans. It simply means we relinquish the need to control the outcome, and instead, we focus on fully embracing the present moment, with all its uncertainty and beauty. Now, let's take this understanding into a practical exercise, one that can help you begin to release the need for control and embrace the flow of life. Take a deep breath and sit comfortably. Close your eyes if that feels natural, and bring your attention to your body. Feel the weight of your body grounding into the chair or the floor beneath you. Let your breath be your anchor as you slowly begin to relax. Now, think about something in your life that you've been trying to control. It could be a relationship, A situation at work, your health, or even your emotions. Think about how tightly you've been holding on to this, how much mental energy you've spent trying to shape it, predict it, or force it into a certain outcome. Let yourself feel the tension that arises in your body as you think about this. Now, gently bring your awareness to your breath. With each inhale, imagine drawing in peace and calm. With each exhale, imagine releasing the need to control this situation. Imagine that with each breath, you are loosening your grip, letting go of the pressure to control. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to predict the future. Just breathe and allow yourself to release. Feel the space that is created in your mind and body as you surrender to the flow of life, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. As you continue to breathe deeply, let the image of the situation you've been trying to control fade into the background. It is there, but it no longer holds power over you. The outcome is not yours to control, and you are at peace with that. Trust that, in time, this situation will evolve naturally, and you do not need to be the one to make it happen. By letting go, you allow yourself to experience freedom. As you sit with this feeling of release, notice how your body begins to relax. The tension that once gripped your chest, your shoulders, your mind begins to dissolve. You feel lighter, freer, and more open to what comes next. The need to control has loosened its hold, and in its place, peace has entered. You don't have to fight for this peace. It is already within you, always available, waiting for you to let go of the illusion of control. This practice, simple as it may seem, is the gateway to embracing impermanence. It's the act of releasing control and accepting life as it comes. As you continue to practice this, you'll begin to notice how much lighter you feel, how much more at ease you are with uncertainty. You will start to see that, when you let go of the need to control, you create space for things to unfold in their own time, for life to move naturally and effortlessly. In the days to come, whenever you feel the urge to control a situation, pause for a moment. Take a breath and remind yourself that impermanence is at play. Recognize that everything is in a constant state of change, and that trying to hold on to one moment or one outcome will only create tension. Instead, focus on being present, on engaging fully with the moment, and on trusting that life will unfold as it should. When we release our attachment to control, we stop fighting the flow of life. We stop resisting change, and we start moving with it, embracing it, and trusting that it will take us exactly where we need to go. The more we practice this, the more we begin to live with peace, acceptance, and freedom. Part 6. The breath, your anchor to the present. In the rush of daily life, we often forget something incredibly simple yet profoundly powerful: the breath. We breathe in and out thousands of times a day, yet we rarely stop to pay attention to it. And yet, our breath holds the key to grounding ourselves in the present moment, to calming our minds, and to reconnecting with the stillness that lies within us. The breath is a bridge between the physical and the mental, between our body and our mind. It is always with us, always present, always available, and in its simplicity it offers us a profound tool for peace. When we are anxious, stressed, or overwhelmed, our breath tends to become shallow and rapid. We breathe faster, our chest rises and falls in a frantic rhythm, and our mind follows suit, racing with thoughts, worries, and doubts. This cycle of shallow breathing and racing thoughts reinforces one another, pulling us further away from the peace we so desperately seek. But when we take a moment to slow down, to deepen our breath, to bring awareness to the act of breathing, something shifts. The frantic pace of our thoughts begins to slow, our heart rate calms, and we return to the present moment, the only moment where peace truly exists. In Buddhism, the breath is considered one of the most powerful tools for meditation and mindfulness. Monks have long used the breath to anchor themselves in the present, to return to the stillness within, and to cultivate a mind that is both clear and calm. The Buddha himself taught that the breath is the bridge between the body and the mind, a connection that allows us to cultivate mindfulness and awareness in each moment. When monks sit in meditation, they focus on the breath as a way of calming the mind and bringing it back to the present. They observe the natural flow of their breath, noticing the rise and fall of the abdomen, the coolness of the air as it enters the nostrils, and the warmth as it exits. This simple act of observing the breath allows them to let go of distractions, of worries, and of the mental noise that often pulls them away from the present. By returning their focus to the breath, they are able to center themselves, to let go of attachments, and to experience the peace that comes from being fully present. The breath is a constant companion, a reminder that we are alive, that we are here, and that everything we need to find peace is already within us. It is the most immediate and accessible way to bring ourselves back to the present moment. No matter where we are, no matter what we are facing, the breath is always there, waiting for us to notice it. So, let's take a moment to connect with our breath, to bring our awareness to this simple yet powerful act. I invite you now to sit comfortably, wherever you are, and close your eyes if that feels natural. Bring your attention to your breath without trying to change it. Just notice it. Feel the cool air as it enters your nostrils and the warmth as it leaves. Feel the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen as you breathe in and out. Allow yourself to simply observe without judgment, without trying to control your breath. Let it be as it is. With each inhale, feel yourself being filled with peace, with calm. With each exhale, release any tension, any stress, any mental chatter that might be lingering in your mind. Imagine that with each breath, you are letting go of everything that is not the present moment. You are simply here, simply breathing, simply being. As you continue to breathe, feel the stillness that begins to settle in. Feel how the breath can be a calming presence, a reminder that you don't need to chase after anything. All you need to do is breathe. In this moment, you are enough. You don't need to do anything more, be anything more, achieve anything more. Just breathe. Now take a moment to notice how your body feels as you focus on your breath. Is there tension in your shoulders, your neck, your chest? With each breath, imagine that tension melting away. Feel your body soften, your heart rate slow, and your mind quiet. The more you focus on your breath, the more you return to the present, and the more you reconnect with the peace that is always available to you. This simple act of breathing, of returning to the present moment, is a practice that can be done anytime, anywhere. It is your anchor, your touchstone in the midst of life's chaos. No matter what is happening around you, you can always return to your breath. You can always find peace in the present moment. This is the power of the breath. It is a tool that can calm the overactive mind, center the body, and reconnect us with the stillness and peace that lie within us. The breath reminds us that we don't need to control anything. We don't need to fight against the flow of life. All we need to do is breathe, to be present, to let go of the need to fix, to control, or to worry. In each breath we find freedom. As you go through your day, remember this practice. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or disconnected, take a moment to return to your breath. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let yourself reconnect with the present moment. With each breath, you will find your way back to the peace that resides within you. The breath is always there, a constant reminder that peace is not something you need to chase after. It is something you can find within yourself, in the simplest of acts. It is the most accessible, most immediate way to bring yourself back to the present moment, to release the weight of the past, and to let go of the worries of the future. As we continue to deepen our connection with the breath, it's important to remember that this practice is not a one-time effort, but a lifelong journey. The breath, as simple and as accessible as it is, becomes a profound tool when we choose to return to it regularly. It is not about achieving a perfect state of calm or silence, but about cultivating the ability to return to the present moment, again and again, amidst the noise and distractions of life. In Buddhism, the breath is often referred to as the anchor because it holds us steady, like an anchor holds a ship in place amidst the waves of the ocean. Our lives are filled with so much movement, emotions, thoughts, external events, that it can feel like we're being tossed around in a storm. The breath, however, offers us a way to stay grounded. It is always there, always available, and always constant. It does not demand anything of us. It simply is. And in that simple act of breathing, we can reconnect with the stillness that lies at the heart of our being. As you become more familiar with the power of the breath, you may begin to notice something profound. The more you focus on your breath, the more you begin to experience the present moment in its fullness. You start to notice the world around you more vividly, whether it's the sound of the wind rustling through the trees, the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the taste of your food. When your mind is quiet and centered, you become more attuned to the richness of each moment, and life becomes more vibrant, more alive. The beauty of this practice is that it doesn't require special circumstances or conditions. You don't need a quiet room, a meditation cushion, or even a particular time of day to practice mindfulness with the breath. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Whether you're sitting in traffic, standing in line at the grocery store, or walking through a busy street, you can always return to your breath. It is always available to you, offering you a moment of peace in the midst of life's chaos. But what about those times when the mind feels particularly unsettled, when the thoughts are relentless, and the world seems overwhelming? During these times, the breath becomes even more essential. It is easy to think that we should be able to control our thoughts, to stop them completely. But the truth is that the mind will always be active. It's a natural part of being human. The key is not to try to eliminate thoughts, but to shift our relationship with them. By bringing our awareness back to the breath, we create space between ourselves and the thoughts. We no longer feel like we are being swept away by them. Instead, we become the observer, watching as the thoughts come and go like passing clouds without getting caught up in them. Think about the image of a river. The river flows continuously, carrying water, leaves, and branches along its path. The water doesn't try to control the current. It simply flows, moving around obstacles and adapting to its surroundings. The thoughts in our minds are like the flow of the river. They come and go, and we don't need to hold on to them or control them. We can simply allow them to pass by, observing them without attachment, and returning to the steady rhythm of our breath. When we are able to detach from our thoughts in this way, we create a space of peace. We don't need to be consumed by the noise in our heads. We don't need to chase after every thought or worry. The breath becomes the anchor that pulls us back to the present, back to the moment, and back to a place of calm. And in that calm, we can begin to experience the fullness of life, unburdened by the mental chatter that often clouds our perception. This practice of returning to the breath is not about forcing our minds to be still or controlling the flow of thoughts. It's about allowing ourselves to be fully present with whatever is happening, without judgment or resistance. The breath invites us to accept the present moment as it is, with all its imperfections, challenges, and beauty. It teaches us that peace is not something to be obtained in the future, but something that is available to us right now, in every breath we take. If you've ever tried to stop your mind from racing, you know how difficult it can be. It's like trying to stop the wind from blowing or holding back the tide. The mind is naturally active, and that's okay. What matters is not whether we can stop our thoughts, but whether we can shift our focus back to the present moment. And with the breath, we always have a way to return. So, let's take a moment now to practice this with intention. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable and take a deep breath in. As you inhale, feel the air entering your body, filling your lungs, and nourishing you. As you exhale, let go of any tension, any stress, or any distractions. Simply release. With each breath, you are becoming more present, more grounded, more at ease. Now, bring your attention to the rhythm of your breath. Notice how it naturally flows in and out like the tide moving in and out of the shore. Feel how the breath can anchor you in this moment, helping you release the need for control, the need to force or manage anything. Just breathe and let yourself be. If your mind starts to wander, gently guide it back to your breath without judgment. This is the practice, coming back to the breath over and over again whenever the mind begins to wander. With each breath, feel a sense of peace settling into your body, your mind, and your heart. Feel how your body softens, your heart opens, and your mind becomes clearer. The breath is always there to bring you back to the present moment, to help you find your center amidst the chaos of life. As you practice this, remember that the breath is not something you need to control. It is already there, already flowing. You don't need to force it. You don't need to make it happen. All you need to do is notice it, to follow its natural rhythm, and to allow it to bring you into the present. This is where peace resides. Part 7. The permission to rest. You are enough. In the rush of our modern lives, the concept of rest has been distorted. Rest is no longer viewed as a necessary and nurturing part of life, but rather something that must be earned. We live in a world that glorifies productivity, where the value of a person is often measured by their output, their achievements, and how much they can do in a given day. Work, success, and hustle are often placed on pedestals, while rest is relegated to a secondary role, a luxury for those who have earned it, a fleeting indulgence that must be quickly dismissed once the work is done. How often do we find ourselves pushing through exhaustion, feeling the weight of our body and mind begging for respite, yet convincing ourselves that we cannot stop? How many times do we ignore the subtle whispers of our body, telling us that it needs a break, because we are too busy meeting deadlines, achieving goals, or fulfilling expectations? The guilt of rest is something so deeply ingrained in our culture that we hardly notice it anymore. We have internalized the idea that taking a break is a sign of weakness, laziness, or failure. But this belief is not only unhealthy, it's also unsustainable. This guilt we feel when we rest isn't born from an inherent truth. It's born from societal pressures that tell us we must always be productive, that our worth is tied to what we can accomplish. These external expectations can be suffocating, and they lead us to neglect the very thing that sustains us, our well-being. We push ourselves beyond our limits, believing that if we stop, we'll fall behind, or worse, that we'll be seen as inadequate or unworthy. Yet in the stillness of rest there lies a profound truth. We are enough exactly as we are, without the need to constantly prove our worth through action. Rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is a vital part of the rhythm of life. Just as we need food, water, and air to survive, we need rest to thrive. Without it, we burn out, we lose our sense of balance, and we disconnect from the natural flow of our lives. But this truth is often obscured by the noise of the world, which tells us that rest is something to be ashamed of, or that we must justify our need for it. Buddhism offers a radically different perspective on rest. In Buddhist teachings, rest is not seen as a reward for hard work, nor is it something that must be earned. Rest is an integral part of the natural rhythm of life. Just as day turns to night and winter gives way to spring, our bodies and minds need cycles of activity and rest to maintain health and balance. The Buddha himself recognized the importance of rest, not just for physical renewal, but for spiritual well-being as well. In meditation, the practice of stillness and relaxation is essential for cultivating mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom. Without moments of rest and rejuvenation, our minds cannot function at their highest potential. When we rest, we are not being lazy or unproductive. We are honoring our bodies and our minds, giving them the space they need to recharge and rejuvenate. Rest allows us to return to life with renewed energy, focus, and clarity. It is an essential practice for maintaining our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. However, rest is often misunderstood. It is not about being passive or disengaged from life. Rest, when done mindfully, is a powerful act of self-care and self-compassion. It allows us to reconnect with ourselves and with the present moment. When we rest, we create space for mindfulness to emerge. We give ourselves permission to be without the pressure to do. And in that space of rest, we begin to remember who we truly are, whole, complete, and enough just as we are. Now, let's take a moment to explore this practice of resting without guilt. I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and bring your attention to your body. Notice any areas of tension or discomfort that may be lingering. With each inhale, imagine breathing in relaxation and ease. With each exhale, let go of any thoughts or worries about what you should be doing. Now say to yourself, I give myself permission to rest. I am enough just as I am. Let these words sink in, allowing them to resonate with your body, your mind, and your soul. There is nothing to prove. There is nothing you need to achieve in this moment. You are worthy of rest just as you are. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to justify it. Rest is your birthright, a natural part of the rhythm of life. Repeat the affirmation to yourself, gently and with conviction. I give myself permission to rest. I am worthy of rest. I am enough just as I am. Feel the weight of those words sinking deep into your heart, melting away any lingering guilt, shame, or resistance. You do not have to be constantly doing in order to be worthy. You are enough in this very moment, simply because you exist. Feel the tension in your body begin to dissolve as you embrace the permission to rest. Imagine yourself lying down, fully supported by the earth, feeling the softness of the surface beneath you. With each breath, allow your body to relax more deeply, releasing any tension or tightness. Let your mind become still, letting go of any worries or to-do lists. In this moment, you are simply resting, and that is enough. As you continue to rest, feel the sense of peace and relief that comes with it. Know that when you rest, you are not being selfish or indulgent. You are taking care of yourself so that you can show up fully in the world. You are allowing your body, mind, and spirit to rejuvenate so that you can live with more clarity, compassion, and energy. This practice of resting without guilt is an act of self-love. It is a way of saying to yourself, I am worthy of peace, I am worthy of rest, and I am worthy of being exactly as I am in this moment. Rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And by giving yourself permission to rest, you honor your own worth, your own humanity. As you continue this journey, remember that you are enough just as you are. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be constantly doing. You are worthy of rest, and you are deserving of the peace that comes with it. Rest is a gift you give to yourself, and it is a practice that will help you reconnect with the natural rhythm of life. Part 8. Happiness is not in the pursuit. Letting go of expectations. We've all heard it. Happiness is the destination. We've been told that once we reach a certain point in life, once we get the job, find the love, buy the house, or achieve success, then we will be happy. The pursuit of happiness has become a lifelong chase where the goalposts are constantly shifting. We work tirelessly, hoping that some external achievement or acquisition will finally fill the void we feel within. But despite our best efforts, happiness often feels elusive, like a mirage that disappears the closer we get to it. In the pursuit of happiness, we end up chasing after things that we believe will give us joy, only to find that when we finally attain them, the happiness they promised is fleeting at best, and often it's entirely absent. We work hard for that promotion, only to feel more stressed and exhausted than before. We chase the perfect relationship, only to realize that true fulfillment comes not from someone else, but from within. We accumulate wealth and possessions, but find that the more we acquire, the less satisfied we become. The problem is not with the external achievements or possessions themselves, but with the belief that they can give us lasting happiness. The truth is, happiness is not something to be attained, it is something to be allowed. Buddhism teaches us that true happiness does not come from the pursuit of external success, nor does it come from gaining or accumulating anything. Instead, happiness is a state of being, a natural consequence of letting go. When we stop chasing after happiness and stop identifying it with specific outcomes or possessions, we open ourselves to the possibility of experiencing true joy in the present moment. The Buddha's teachings on happiness are deeply rooted in the concept of non-attachment. According to Buddhist philosophy, attachment to external outcomes, whether they are material possessions, relationships, or achievements, creates suffering. This attachment arises from a belief that happiness can only come when we possess something or when we reach a certain goal. However, the more we attach ourselves to these external conditions, the more we entangle ourselves in desire, expectation, and frustration. The Buddha's path to happiness, however, is rooted in letting go of the need to control, the need to possess, and the need to achieve. True happiness, according to Buddhism, comes when we accept life as it is, when we release our expectations and stop striving for something outside of ourselves. Happiness is not something we need to work for or seek out. It is something that arises naturally when we learn to let go of our attachment to the outcomes of life. When we cease the chase for happiness, we allow ourselves to experience it in its most authentic form. Happiness becomes not a future goal, but a present reality. It is in the simple moments, savoring a cup of tea, feeling the warmth of the sun on our skin, listening to the sound of rain, that we discover the joy that has always been available to us. These moments don't require anything but our presence. We don't need to achieve or acquire anything to experience happiness. It is already here, waiting for us to notice it. So, let's take a moment to reflect on this idea. I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let yourself relax. Now, think about something in your life that you've been pursuing for happiness. It could be a goal, a possession, or an outcome that you believe will bring you joy. Notice how this pursuit has shaped your thoughts, your actions, and your expectations. Feel the tension that comes with this desire to reach something that feels just out of reach. Now, imagine letting go of that pursuit. Imagine releasing the attachment to the idea that happiness will come only when you achieve that thing. Allow yourself to feel the space that opens up when you stop chasing, when you stop striving. Let go of the expectation that happiness must be earned. Feel the lightness that comes with this release. In this moment, you don't need anything. You don't need to achieve anything. You don't need to be anyone other than who you already are. You are enough just as you are. As you breathe deeply, let this feeling of release fill you up. Allow the weight of expectations to melt away. In this moment, you are free from the need to attain anything in order to feel happy. Happiness is not a future goal. It is a state of being, available to you right now in this moment, just as you are. This is the essence of Buddhist wisdom on happiness. It is not something we need to pursue or attain. It is something we allow. Happiness arises naturally when we let go of our attachments, our expectations, and our desires for something outside of ourselves. When we stop chasing, we create the space to experience the joy that is already within us. I want you to remember that happiness is not a destination. It is not something you need to work for, earn, or achieve. Happiness is not something that can be given to you by anyone or anything. It is something that arises from within, when we let go of the need to control our lives or our experiences. Happiness is already here in the present moment, waiting for you to notice it. Now, I invite you to carry this awareness with you. As you move through your day, notice when you are caught in the chase for something external. When you find yourself longing for something more, take a moment to pause and remind yourself, I am enough. Happiness is not a destination. It is already here in this moment. Allow yourself to breathe, to let go, and to simply be. When we talk about happiness in the context of letting go of expectations, it's not just about relinquishing desires or material goals. It's about fundamentally changing our relationship with life itself. Society teaches us to look for happiness outside of ourselves, whether in the next promotion, the next relationship, the next vacation. We are conditioned to believe that happiness is something that will eventually arrive, like a package we are waiting for, but only once we've achieved or attained something. The truth is that in constantly seeking happiness in the future, we fail to realize that it is already present within us, right here, right now. Take a moment to think about the things you have been working toward in your life. Perhaps there's an upcoming achievement you're waiting for, or something you hope to experience in the future that will finally complete you. The question to ask yourself is, why do we believe that these things will bring us happiness? What are we truly seeking when we put our happiness in the hands of external circumstances? The chase for happiness often leaves us feeling empty, dissatisfied, and unfulfilled. We set goals, attain them, and then instead of feeling the lasting joy we expect, we immediately shift our attention to the next goal. This constant cycle of reaching for something just beyond our grasp can leave us wondering if happiness is even real or if it's merely a fleeting illusion. But it's precisely this perpetual chase, driven by the belief that happiness is tied to some future outcome, that keeps us from truly experiencing it. In our effort to get there, we miss the richness of the present moment, which, ironically, is where happiness is most often found. Buddhism teaches that happiness is not an external achievement, but an internal state. It is not dependent on acquiring more, but on shedding the layers of desire and expectation that cloud our hearts and minds. The Buddha himself taught that craving, or tanha, is the root cause of suffering. The more we crave, whether it's for success, wealth, recognition, or even love, the more we entangle ourselves in a cycle of longing and frustration. When we let go of these cravings, we create space for contentment, peace, and joy to emerge naturally, without the need to chase after them. The paradox here is that the more we let go, the more we allow ourselves to experience true happiness. This is not happiness as a goal, but happiness as a state of being. It's the ability to feel content in the present moment, without the need for anything to change. It's about accepting life as it is and finding peace in that acceptance. This does not mean that we stop striving or working toward our goals. It simply means that our happiness is no longer tied to the achievement of those goals. We no longer seek happiness from external circumstances, but allow it to arise naturally from within. Happiness is a state of mind, a way of being, that we can cultivate by letting go of expectations and learning to be present with what is. Now, I invite you to engage in a simple practice to help you begin to let go of your attachment to future happiness and embrace the present moment. I'd like you to take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax and your mind to become still. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your heart. Notice any desires, goals, or expectations that are currently occupying your mind, things you are waiting for, things you believe will bring you happiness once they are achieved. Now, with each breath, gently let go of these attachments. Imagine them floating away, like leaves drifting on a calm river, carried by the current without any resistance. Allow yourself to feel the freedom in letting go of the need for things to be different, for things to change. In this moment, you are complete. You don't need anything more to be happy. You are enough just as you are. As you continue to breathe, repeat this affirmation silently to yourself. I release the need to chase happiness. I am already whole and I am already enough. With each repetition, feel the truth of these words sink deeper into your being. You do not have to wait for some external condition to fulfill you. The peace, the happiness, and the contentment you seek are already within you. Now, take a moment to reflect on how you feel. Do you notice any shifts in your body or mind? Do you feel lighter, more at ease? When we stop chasing happiness and let go of our expectations, we create space for joy to enter. The peace we have been searching for is not outside of us. It is right here, right now, within us. All we need to do is release the grip on our desires and allow ourselves to rest in the present moment. This is the essence of Buddhist practice, being present, letting go, and finding contentment in what is. When we let go of our attachment to the future, we begin to experience happiness as a natural byproduct of being present. We no longer need to chase it. We can simply allow it to unfold in each moment. I encourage you to continue practicing this release throughout your day. Whenever you notice yourself getting caught up in the pursuit of future happiness, whether it's through work, relationships, or personal achievements, take a deep breath and remember, happiness is not something you need to chase. It is already here. In this moment, you are already enough. By embracing this truth, you create space for true fulfillment. You allow yourself to feel joy in the small moments, in the simple things that life offers us every day. Happiness is not a destination. It is a state to be embraced, a way of being that comes from within, not from external achievements or circumstances. Part 9. Peace Within. Returning to stillness. In our fast-paced world, we often equate peace with silence. We imagine that peace is a state where everything is calm, where there are no distractions, no noise, no chaos. We envision a peaceful moment as one where we are far away from the hustle and bustle of life, perhaps in a quiet retreat or on a remote mountaintop, surrounded by nothing but serenity. But the truth is that peace is not about escaping noise or finding a perfect, silent place. Peace is something much deeper. It is an inner state of being that remains untouched by the external world. We often search for peace by eliminating the noise around us, hoping that when the external world quiets down, we will find peace within. Yet this is a myth. Peace does not come from controlling the environment. Peace comes from within, from cultivating stillness in the midst of life's inevitable noise and chaos. No matter where we are or what is happening around us, we can always return to a place of stillness inside ourselves. True peace is not the absence of external noise. It is the ability to remain centered and calm, even when the world around us is anything but quiet. In Buddhism, peace is not seen as something to be found outside of ourselves, but something to be cultivated within. Buddhist monks, for example, do not seek peace by isolating themselves from the world. Instead, they turn inward, practicing mindfulness and meditation to develop an unwavering sense of inner stillness, regardless of what is happening around them. By turning their attention inward, they discover that peace is not something to be attained, but something to be recognized within themselves. This inner peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It is not contingent upon achieving certain goals, attaining wealth, or finding the perfect environment. Instead, it arises from an inner awareness, from the practice of being present and accepting what is. When we begin to cultivate this inner stillness, we realize that peace is not something we need to search for. It has always been there, waiting for us to recognize it. Buddhism teaches that the external world is constantly changing, and that the mind, too, is often restless and filled with distractions. But just as the ocean remains deep and undisturbed beneath the surface waves, so too can our minds remain calm beneath the surface of our thoughts. The key to finding peace is not to fight the noise or try to control the world around us, but to learn to return to the stillness within. We do this through practices like mindfulness and meditation, where we train ourselves to notice the constant flow of thoughts without becoming swept away by them. The process of cultivating inner peace is like learning to sit by a river, watching the water flow by. The water never stops moving, but we don't need to jump in and be carried away by the current. Instead, we can sit calmly on the bank, observing the flow without being caught in it. Similarly, in life, we do not need to get caught up in every thought or emotion that arises. We can observe them without attachment, allowing them to pass by like clouds in the sky. Let's take a moment to practice this return to stillness. Wherever you are, find a comfortable seat. Close your eyes if that feels right for you. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, allow your body to relax. Begin to bring your awareness to your breath, noticing how it rises and falls, naturally and effortlessly. With each breath, feel yourself grounding into the present moment, letting go of any thoughts or distractions. Now imagine yourself in a quiet place, surrounded by the sounds of nature, perhaps the gentle rustle of leaves, the soft hum of a distant river, or the call of birds in the trees. Even as you hear these sounds, notice that you can still be at peace. The sounds do not disturb you. They are just part of the present moment, passing by without disrupting your inner stillness. Let your breath anchor you in this stillness. With each inhale, feel a sense of calm filling your body. With each exhale, release any tension or anxiety. Imagine that you are becoming more and more still, like a tree standing firmly in the wind, rooted deeply in the earth. The external noise may continue, but you remain unaffected, at peace within yourself. As you continue to breathe deeply, notice how your mind may wander. Thoughts may arise, emotions may surface, but instead of getting caught up in them, simply observe them. See them as they come and go, like clouds in the sky, without attaching to them or reacting to them. Let the stillness within you grow stronger with each breath. In this moment, you are not your thoughts. You are not the distractions around you. You are the observer, the one who is aware of them, and that awareness is where peace resides. The more you practice returning to this stillness, the easier it becomes to find peace in the midst of life's noise. Take a moment now to reflect on how this stillness feels. Notice how it's not about silencing the world or your thoughts. It's about finding peace within, regardless of what's going on around you. This is the essence of true peace. It is not something you need to create or attain. It is already there within you, waiting to be recognized. It is not dependent on circumstances, but on your ability to return to it again and again. Now, as you breathe and feel this stillness within you, remember that peace is always available. It is not a far-off goal or destination. It is a natural state, one that you can return to at any time. Whether you are in the midst of a busy day, facing a challenge, or simply sitting in quiet reflection, peace is always there, beneath the surface, waiting for you to recognize it. In the coming days, whenever you feel yourself being pulled into the chaos or distractions of life, take a moment to return to your breath. Return to that quiet space within you. Remember that peace does not come from controlling the world around you, but from being able to find stillness in the midst of it. But true peace, the kind that Buddhism speaks of, is not about avoiding the world or the noise. It's about learning to be at peace amidst the chaos. It's about returning to stillness no matter what is happening around us. The external world is always changing, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy, but we have the power to remain anchored in the present, to find serenity no matter what arises. Think of the image of the ocean. On the surface, waves may crash violently, stirred by winds, storms, and currents, but deep beneath the surface, the water remains calm and still, untouched by the turbulence above. This is the nature of true peace. The waves may rise, the winds may howl, but underneath it all, there is an unshakable stillness. This is the stillness that you have access to always when you turn your attention inward. To truly understand this peace, we must release the belief that peace is something that will only come when the world quiets down. Instead, we must begin to practice being still within ourselves, even as the world continues to swirl around us. The process of returning to stillness is not about waiting for external conditions to change, but about changing our internal response to the world. It's about training ourselves to remain centered in the face of chaos, to respond with mindfulness instead of reactivity. This is where the Buddhist practice of meditation becomes so important. When monks sit in meditation, they cultivate a deep, unwavering stillness within themselves, regardless of what is happening around them. The world may be in turmoil, but within their hearts, they return to a place of calm. This stillness is not a passive retreat. It's an active engagement with the present moment. By training themselves to stay present, monks learn to experience life fully, without getting caught in the distractions, the fears, and the desires that often pull us away from peace. As we explore how to return to stillness, it's helpful to recognize that peace is not a destination, it's a process. It's a practice we return to again and again. Peace within doesn't come from a place of perfection. It doesn't require us to eliminate all noise, all conflict, or all stress. It simply requires us to be present with what is, to let go of our need to control, and to accept that everything is in constant motion. Let's practice this now. Take a moment to sit comfortably with your spine straight, your shoulders relaxed, and your hands resting gently in your lap. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. As you inhale, feel the air filling your lungs, bringing with it a sense of calm. Hold your breath for a moment and then slowly exhale, releasing any tension or stress in your body. Continue this deep, slow breathing, allowing each breath to take you deeper into a state of stillness. As you breathe, imagine that you are standing at the edge of a calm, expansive ocean. The surface of the water is smooth and still. No matter what may be happening around you, the waters remain calm beneath your feet. Allow this image of stillness to fill your mind, and as you continue to breathe, feel yourself becoming more centered, more anchored in the present moment. Now, bring your awareness to any thoughts or emotions that may be arising. Notice them without judgment, without attachment. These thoughts and emotions are like waves on the surface of the water. They come and go, but they do not define you. You are the ocean beneath them, vast, deep, and calm. With each breath, return to that deep stillness. Let the surface turbulence pass by without getting swept away by it. Know that no matter what is happening in your mind, peace remains within you always. Allow this stillness to settle into your body, your heart, and your mind. Feel the calm spread through you, softening any tension, quieting the noise of the world. In this moment, you are not defined by your thoughts or your emotions. You are not defined by the events of the day or the worries about tomorrow. You are simply here, breathing, present, and at peace. This stillness is always available to you, even in the midst of the busiest or most chaotic moments. The more you practice returning to it, the more you will begin to notice it, even when life is loud, demanding, or uncertain. You don't need to escape the noise. You can choose to find peace within it. In Buddhism, this practice of finding stillness is called sati, mindfulness or awareness of the present moment. It is a practice of remembering that peace is always available to us, not as a distant goal, but as something we can experience right now. Mindfulness teaches us that peace is found in the acceptance of what is, in the ability to be present with life as it is, without needing to change or control it. As you continue to live your life, remember that peace is not dependent on your circumstances. It is not dependent on what is happening around you, but on your ability to remain present, to return to stillness, to let go of the need to control or change the moment. When you return to stillness, you reconnect with your true nature, a nature that is always calm, always present, and always at peace. Now, as you bring this practice of stillness into your life, notice the subtle changes that begin to take place. The more you return to the breath, to the present moment, the more you will experience peace in every part of your life. Whether you are in the midst of a busy day or facing a difficult challenge, you can always return to the peace that lies within you. Part 10. The Journey of Life. Embracing the now. In our fast-paced world, the idea of getting there has become central to how we view our lives. We are constantly rushing toward the next milestone, whether it's a promotion, a new home, a vacation, or even retirement. We are taught that happiness and fulfillment lie just beyond the horizon, that when we reach this next destination, everything will finally fall into place. The pressure to keep moving, to keep striving, can make us feel like life is a race with no finish line, a race we must keep running in order to feel worthy, successful, or complete. But in this constant pursuit, we overlook the most important truth. Life is not about reaching a destination, it's about the journey itself. We often rush through our days, not fully aware of the beauty, the opportunities, and the richness of each moment. The future, which we spend so much time chasing, is always just out of reach, while the present, the only moment we truly have, is slipping by unnoticed. The Buddha's teachings are rooted in the idea that the key to a fulfilling and peaceful life is not in accumulating more, achieving more, or rushing to some distant goal. The key is in learning to live fully in the present moment. This practice of being present is called mindfulness, and it is at the heart of Buddhism. Mindfulness is not just about meditation or quiet reflection. It is about bringing full awareness to everything you do, every moment you live, and every experience you encounter. The Buddhist path teaches us that peace and fulfillment are not dependent on the future or the past. They are found in the present moment. When we are mindful, we stop living in the what if or the when I get there, and instead, we live fully in the now. We learn to experience life as it is, not as we wish it to be or as we fear it might become. The present moment becomes our sanctuary, a place where we can truly connect with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. Mindfulness transforms every aspect of life. When we are mindful, we stop rushing through our days, ticking off items on our to-do lists without truly engaging with them. We begin to notice the simple things, the warmth of the sun on our face, the sound of birds chirping outside, the feeling of the ground beneath our feet. We learn to savor each moment, to take it in fully, without judgment, without rushing. And in doing so, we begin to find beauty and meaning in the ordinary. Buddhism teaches us that every moment is an opportunity for mindfulness. Whether we are eating, walking, working, or simply breathing, every action is an opportunity to return to the present, to become fully aware of what is happening right now. When we are present, we are not lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. We are here, fully alive in this moment. To understand the depth of this practice, we need to reflect on how often we miss out on life because we are too busy trying to get somewhere else. How many times have you rushed through your day, thinking about everything you have to do, all the places you have to go, and yet, when the day is over, you realize you were barely present for any of it? We can be physically present in a moment, but if our minds are elsewhere, we miss the richness that life has to offer. Imagine, for a moment, what it would be like to truly experience every moment of your life. To stop rushing, stop thinking about what's next, and simply be here now. What would it be like to savor your cup of tea, to truly listen when someone speaks to you, to notice the beauty in the simplest things? Imagine how much more fulfilling your life could be if you gave yourself permission to be fully present, to embrace the journey rather than focusing on the destination. Let's take a few minutes now to practice being fully present. I invite you to take a deep breath and close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Inhale slowly, and as you do, feel the air filling your lungs. Exhale gently, releasing any tension or distractions. Bring your attention to your body, noticing how it feels in this moment. Are there any areas of tension, any sensations in your body that you've been ignoring? Simply observe without judgment. Now, bring your awareness to your thoughts. Notice how they may be rushing, pulling you in different directions, thinking about what you need to do later, what you did yesterday, or what you want to achieve in the future. Gently, without force, bring your attention back to the present. Let the thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. You don't need to follow them, you don't need to judge them. Just observe and return to the moment. As you breathe, feel yourself becoming more present, more grounded in the now. Notice the simple details of the moment, the rhythm of your breath, the feeling of the air on your skin, the sounds around you. Allow yourself to be fully immersed in this moment. There is nothing you need to do. There is nowhere you need to go. Right now, you are enough, and everything is unfolding just as it should. This practice of mindfulness can be applied to every aspect of your life, from the simplest activities to the most complex ones. Whether you're eating, walking, working, or spending time with others, every moment can be an opportunity to return to the present, to embrace the journey instead of rushing toward the destination. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes to be fully present in every moment, to truly live your life instead of merely going through the motions. Now, let's reflect on the journey of your life. How often have you found yourself so focused on the future that you've missed out on the beauty of the present? How many moments have you let slip by, thinking that happiness and fulfillment will come later, once you achieve this or that? But as we've learned through this practice, the true richness of life is not in achieving some distant goal. It's in fully experiencing each moment along the way. So, as you move forward in life, remember that the journey is just as important as the destination, if not more so. Embrace each step, each breath, each moment, knowing that true happiness and fulfillment are found in being present, not in constantly striving for something else. The peace you seek is not something to be attained, but something to be experienced right now. As we reflect on this journey together, we begin to see the profound impact of the teachings and practices we've explored. The path toward peace, happiness, and fulfillment is not about external circumstances or destinations. It is about how we engage with each moment of our lives. So much of our experience is shaped by how we relate to the world around us and how we respond to the noise in our minds. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to do more, achieve more, and be more. Yet, in the pursuit of these external goals, we often overlook the deeper truth that everything we seek is already within us. Throughout this series, we have explored powerful lessons that guide us back to the present moment and help us reconnect with our true selves. From the idea that peace is not the absence of noise, but the stillness within, to the realization that happiness is not something to chase or attain, but something to allow, we have learned that the answers to life's most profound questions are not hidden in the future or the past. They are found in the now. The breath, a simple but profound tool, has been our anchor throughout this journey. It reminds us that no matter how turbulent the world around us may be, we always have the power to return to the present. The breath is our constant companion, guiding us back to stillness and peace, reminding us that we do not need to control everything. We only need to be present with what is. We've also learned that letting go is essential to finding true peace. The struggle for control, the need to hold on to past experiences, the desire to fix the future. These attachments only keep us trapped in cycles of frustration and suffering. By embracing impermanence and letting go of our attachment to outcomes, we open ourselves to the flow of life. We allow ourselves to experience the fullness of each moment, without the burden of expectations or the weight of what has been or what will be. This journey has shown us that peace is not a destination, but a practice. It is found not in the absence of external chaos, but in the ability to stay centered and grounded despite it. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. But when we embrace the present moment with all its uncertainty and imperfection, we find that peace arises naturally within ourselves. The profound lesson: life is about the journey, not the destination. The central lesson of this journey is simple, yet profound. Life is not about reaching a destination. It's about embracing the journey itself. We live in a world that constantly encourages us to chase after something more, to strive for bigger goals, to work harder, and to achieve success. But in this endless pursuit of something outside ourselves, we often forget to appreciate the journey that is unfolding in the present moment. The chase for external success often leaves us feeling empty, dissatisfied, and disconnected from what truly matters. We accumulate achievements, possessions, and accolades, but they do not bring lasting fulfillment. True happiness and peace are not found in the attainment of goals, but in the acceptance of life as it is right now. In Buddhism, this is known as mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in each moment, without attachment to past regrets or future worries. Mindfulness teaches us to embrace the journey, to appreciate each step along the way, and to find peace in the process, not just in the end result. It is about living with intention, fully engaged in each moment, without rushing through life or constantly striving for more. By practicing mindfulness, we begin to see that peace and happiness are not external rewards to be earned, but internal states to be nurtured. When we stop chasing after something we think will bring us happiness, we free ourselves to experience the richness of life as it is. The present moment becomes our sanctuary, a place where we can find joy, even in the midst of challenges and uncertainties, applying these lessons to our lives. So, how can we apply these lessons to our daily lives? The first step is to slow down and become aware of the present moment. This doesn't mean stopping everything or retreating from the world. It simply means becoming more intentional with our attention. Instead of rushing through our day, we can pause and notice the small details, the feel of the air on our skin, the sounds of the world around us, the taste of our food, the quality of our breath. By becoming more mindful, we create space for peace to enter our lives, no matter how chaotic or busy things may seem. Letting go of our attachment to external outcomes is another key practice. Instead of fixating on the future or obsessing over what we have or don't have, we can choose to embrace the present moment. This doesn't mean abandoning our goals or aspirations. It simply means releasing the idea that happiness or peace depends on achieving something specific. By accepting impermanence and releasing our need to control every aspect of our lives, we can find peace in the flow of life itself. Finally, we must remember that rest is not a luxury, but a necessary part of life. In our culture, rest is often seen as something to be earned, something to be indulged in only after we've completed our work or achieved our goals. But true rest is an essential part of our well-being. Just as our bodies need sleep to restore and rejuvenate, our minds need rest to recharge and remain clear. By giving ourselves permission to rest without guilt, we allow ourselves to be fully present and engaged in life, rather than constantly running on empty. Reflection and invitation to share. As we reach the end of this journey together, I invite you to reflect on the lessons you've learned and how you can apply them to your own life. How can you begin to embrace the present moment more fully? What can you do to let go of the need to control, to release attachment, and to cultivate peace within yourself? What areas of your life have you been chasing after external goals, and how can you begin to appreciate the richness of the journey, not just the destination? I'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections. Please feel free to share your perspective in the comments below. Your insights may help others on their journey toward peace and mindfulness, and together, we can continue to learn from one another. If this journey has inspired you, if these teachings have resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to Buddhism in every moment. Your support helps us continue creating content that inspires and guides you toward a life filled with peace, mindfulness, and true happiness. Thank you for being here with us, for embracing these lessons, and for allowing yourself to live fully in the present moment. Together, let's continue to walk this path of self-discovery, letting go of what no longer serves us, and embracing the beauty of the journey.